Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it is a very simple video, but I wanted to make it. I want to do a cutie little video, so here I am. Today I will be talking about the books that I've been buying recently and what's kind of on my TBR shelf, because I am on a slight book buying ban right now, but I still obviously end up buying books if I have the chance. A lot of the times it's because I'll have like tips or something from work and I just kind of have like a little bit of extra cash lying around, so I will, you know, go to the store and I'll just like browse around a little bit with my boyfriend. I kind of decided for myself like not to film every single book that I am reading or listening to, because it kind of became a lot for me to like film and edit. And so I had my video, the 25 books that I've read so far in the year, when we were at the halfway point of the year. And so I figured I'm gonna do another one of the last 25 books that I read in the year, like in December, maybe closer to January even. And yeah, I figured if I'm gonna be telling everybody what books I'm gonna be reading or what books I've read over the last half of the year, I figured that I would just show you guys in that video, and like if I missed anything you would see it there. Or I do have a little bookstagram and the handle is tanya.iris_, and yeah, it's just read with T is my little name on there. But yeah, that's like my little bookstagram, so I try to also post the books that I'm reading currently on there. I haven't like gotten too good at posting on there as well, because naturally I don't really post that much on Instagram. Like even though I tell myself or I'll tell my friends like, yeah, I'll post this on Instagram, like I just don't. I'm gonna start with Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. First of all, this book is beautiful, and the edition specifically from Barnes & Noble was absolutely gorgeous. I could not pass up buying it this time, and I am going to be reading Caraval trilogy very, very soon, and so I figured that if I'm gonna read it, might as well get it. I think I got it like 50% off. I don't remember exactly when, but guys, this is so stinking cozy. It is so stinking cozy. Even like the binding right here is dark green and this is red, and like all of just the cover, it was like perfectly on theme for a Christmas cozy fantasy novella, and I'm actually really excited to read this trilogy now. I feel like having the book specifically in Christmas time, like set in that Christmas time style as well, is kind of more, it like relieves the pressure off of me a little bit to finish the books faster, because then I'm like, okay, if I really think about how quickly I can read all of these different series that I have in mind, I feel like Caraval will end up being around December, if I'm just being honest with myself. So can't wait to dive into this in Christmas time, and I feel like it'd be literally the perfect time to do it. Next we have Swift and Saddled. I listened to Done and Dusted, and I don't have the physical copy. I do want the physical copy of it now, but I got Swift and Saddled just as like I really liked the first book, and then I figured since this is an interconnected series where like the different characters will also go on their own romantic arcs, I like that idea. And I haven't actually like read any series like that. I haven't read any series like that in the West kind of style, like that Western horseback riding, like Wyoming setting, and I really wanted to. And I have Wild Side. Is it Wild Side or is it Wild Love? I have the first book in that one series by Elsie Silver. Recently I've just been loving the Western romances, but I will say this one is a lot more like head-on spicy than the first one. Like the first one, it was kind of easy to like skip over it. I find myself skipping a lot more than I plan to, and just even the actual like relationship between the two, because I'm listening to the book right now and going through physical copy, and I feel like I'd still want them in physical copies because they're so pretty. Like I absolutely love this art. It reminds me of like the Archie comics, and I don't know why those just like scratch an itch in my brain, and I really, really like it. I feel like with these books it's kind of hard to fit in a slower developing love connection with two strangers meeting for the first time in one book, if that makes sense. So the first book, we're following along Emmy Ryder and Brooks, and they've known each other growing up, and she like left town, came back, and they had their whole journey together. But with that, it was easier to kind of like, yeah, they liked each other back then and now they like each other now, and there's so much history. But with here, it's like they've met for the first time and there's already that like spark, which I do understand, like it's really cute to have a spark like that. But I guess, yeah, like when you're put in the position of having to create an entire love story in just 300 pages, like I can't even imagine trying to write that out. So in my eyes, it is a little fast, and I kind of don't love this book as much as the first one. I do want to read the third one and see like where it goes, but yeah, just keep that in mind when you're reading those books or just buying them. Next, I got The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And this cover, another cover that we just absolutely love. Literally gorgeous and stunning. I absolutely love this kind of art, and I love the summary of this one. Oh my gosh, hello, hi. I love the summary of this one. I made it a little warmer if that kind of helps, because I feel like we were getting a little. Keela has always had trouble dealing with people. Thankfully, as a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she and her assistant Kaz, a magically sentient spider plant, have spent the last decade sequestered among the Empire's most precious. Oh my god, I can't read this for the life of me right now. Okay. Thankfully, as a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she and her assistant Kaz, a magically sentient spider plant, have spent the last decade sequestered among the Empire's most precious spellbooks, preserving their magic for the city's elite. When a revolution begins and the library goes up in flames, she and Kaz flee with all the spellbooks they can carry and head to a remote island Keela never thought she'd see again, her childhood home. Taking refuge there, Keela discovers, much to her dismay, a nosy, very handsome neighbor who can't take a hint and keeps showing up day after day to make sure that she's fed and to help fix up her new home. Keela identifies something that even the bakery in town doesn't have: jam. With the help of an old recipe book her parents left her and a bit of illegal magic, her cottage garden is soon covered in ripe berries. But magic can do much more than make a life sweeter, so Keela risks the consequences of using unsanctioned spells and opens the island's first ever and much needed secret spell shop. I felt like the idea of this is absolutely beautiful, and it's so fantastical and it's so magical, and I really would love to escape into this book. And I think sometimes it is really beautiful to use books as like that escapism, because that is sometimes I feel like a break from the reality, and sometimes we do need that. And I feel like sometimes we just shouldn't be apologizing needing a break from the world. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of us even use social media to kind of escape the reality sometimes and just to feel normal again. So I feel like there's no shame in wanting to disappear into a book, especially like imagine if you wrote a book and someone's like, I just loved escaping my reality and going into here because it feels like its own reality and you feel so invested into the book. So I feel like that would be a compliment anyway. Yeah, and then there's already the enchanted greenhouse and I'm so excited. I'm really excited. And then we have a little cat dragon there and it's gonna be literally the cutest thing ever. And I feel like sometimes with the cover it kind of helps set the scene in your mind. So like if it was a different cover I would be imagining it a little bit differently, but because of the cover I feel like it's gonna be really cute and I'm just gonna be imagining that type of art the entire time reading it. So next we have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Everyone loves Orion Lake. Everyone else, that is. As far as I'm concerned, he can keep his flashy combat magic to himself. I'm not joining his pack of adoring fans. I don't need help surviving the Schoolomance, even if they do. Forget the hordes of monsters and cursed artifacts. I'm probably the most dangerous thing in the place. Just give me a chance and I'll level mountains and kill untold millions, make myself the Dark Queen of the world. At least that's what the world expects. Most of the other students in here would be delighted if Orion killed me, like one more evil thing that's crawled out of the drains. Sometimes I think they want me to turn into the evil witch they assume I am. The school certainly does. But the Schoolomance isn't Schoolomance isn't getting what it wants from me, and neither is Orion Lake. I may not be anyone's idea of the shining hero, but I'm going to make it out of this place alive, and I'm not going to slaughter thousands to do it either, although I'm giving serious consideration to just one. The Schoolomance is the dark school of magic I've been waiting for, and its wise, witty, and monstrous heroine is one of that I'd happily follow anywhere. Monsters, magic, rivals, lots of fun stuff like that. So I'm really excited, and my friend has been telling me about this book for a little while and she's been trying to get me to read it quicker and quicker. I'm like, I have so many books to read and I'm so excited to read this one too. So yeah, and even her husband liked the book. So I'm like, I want to get Max onto this book too. Okay, so this is a young adult book and my sister really recommended it. I started listening to the book like about a year ago now and I DNF'd it for now. Like it was kind of a softer DNF because I knew I'd want to read it, but I wanted to read it in the fall. Every enchantment has a price. Isabel is a prodigy portrait artist with a dangerous set of clients, the immortal fair folk. But when she receives her first royal patron, Rook, the Autumn Prince, she makes a terrible mistake. She paints mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his life. Okay, and now somebody decided to garden just now and leaf blow, so it's just a lot of like, it's a quick high stakes romance and I'm here for it. And I loved the setting, I loved the characters, I like how mysterious it is. When we met, I got up to the point that she already met Rook, so there already was really cool and it was really fun. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to actually start raining consistently to pick this book up, because I mean, I hope people who are watching me like understand. And the last book that we have is Carve the Mark. Let me know how it's pronounced. But anyway, Sierra and Akos grew up in enemy countries on a vibrant yet divided planet. Sierra's ability to transfer extraordinary pain with a simple touch makes her a dangerous weapon for her tyrannical brother. When Akos is kidnapped and forced to serve Sierra, it's clear that their hatred is mutual. But Akos fights for his survival in enemy territory. He recognizes that Sierra is also fighting for hers, and that her true gift, resilience, might be what saves them both. The world is on the brink of political chaos, and Akos and Sierra must decide if they will fight for what's right, even if it means betraying their families and countries. I'm really interested in this book because my sister and my best friend, they've been telling me to read this for so long, since they were in like high school or like middle school even. And I know that this is also like a young adult one, but again, like I've only been reading since 2023, like legitimately. I'm in a way, I'm like keeping up with what's being published. I'm keeping up with all of the modern stuff and all of like everything that's being published right now and everything that's being new and new authors and stuff, but I'm also trying to catch up to all the iconic things that everyone's read, or iconic books, iconic series, iconic standalones that I have heard about growing up. And I'm just really excited because now that I actually have like this mental capacity to read and sit for a while, I'm just basically trying to catch up. So I am going to be reading this soon. I just don't know if this can be this year. But anyway, these are indeed the books that I've bought recently, and I tried looking at like other books that I've bought, but oh my gosh, wait. I have 4 other books that I bought. BRB. You thought this video was over? So did I, but scratch that. I have 6 other books that I bought. We've got Maya and Natasha. This one follows 2 ballerina sisters, and if I'm not mistaken, 1941. They are born in the midst of the siege Leningrad in 1941 and immediately abandoned by their mother, a prima ballerina at Kirov Ballet, who would rather die than not dance. Taken in by their mother's best friend at the Kirov, the girls are raised to be dancers themselves. The Vaganova Ballet Academy, the totalitarian Soviet regime, is the only world they know. In 1958, now seniors at the Vaganova, at the height of the Cold War, all Maya, Natasha, and their classmates wants to do is dance. So it's kind of like a deep historical fiction about 2 sisters and testing their loyalty, morals, and life. This one is kind of like reminding me of The Nightingale just a little bit because of like the reference of Cold War and World War II and like the time that it's all set in. So yeah, but this is definitely an interesting story and I'm really excited to get into this too. I just keep on forgetting it. Like sometimes I put them on my shelf, and the next book too, I have a few hardcovers on my shelf. 3 of them are already read. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, these hardcovers are already read, but they're not. And so I just kind of forget, but I'm glad that I remember this because I want to pick it up again. Okay, it's the next day and my best friend ended up coming over yesterday to watch the finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then we like all ended up talking like with my sister and my best friend like about the Life of a Showgirl release and just like our thoughts on it, and I actually filmed it, so I will hopefully have a video about it coming out soon. But I figured I am also going on a trip today. I'm leaving today. The straw. You know, I'm just gonna let that be. So we were just talking about Maya and Natasha, and I was just saying how excited I am to get into that book and how I have like a shelf in my room where hardcovers are. On that shelf, like I have a lot of hardcovers that I've already read, so I just kind of forget about it sometimes, but I'm really excited to actually get into this story. Next, we've got The Favorites by Lane Fargo. First of all, I love this cover as well. I love how glittery and gold the actual font is. After you've skated on ice, like the little lines and stuff that come up on it, I feel like you can literally see that on the cover, and I just love how glittery and beautiful it is. It is hardcover, and hardcovers I do find a little bit harder to read sometimes. I also saw the paperback of this book, and I got really like, I kind of got like sad because I'm like, I wish I waited to just buy it in paperback because A, it's less expensive because books are so expensive nowadays. 2, it's just more pretty and it sits on your shelf a little bit cuter, I feel like. So regardless, this is about 2 soulmates who dance around each other on and off the ice, a story as shimmering and lethal as figures skating itself. She might not have a famous name, funding, or her family's support, but Katrina Shaw has always known that she was destined to become an Olympic skater. When she meets Heath Rasha, a lonely kid stuck in the foster care system, their instant connection makes them a formidable duo on the ice. Clinging to skating and each other to escape their turbulent lives, Kat and Heath go from childhood sweethearts to champion ice dancers, captivating the world with their scorching chemistry, rebellious style, and a roller coaster relationship. I feel like it's gonna be really cool, and I've heard that it's very dramatic and it just feels like you're watching a movie, so I love books like that, and I'm really excited to get into this one. These last four are purely autumnal rom-coms, and they're actually all very popular ones, and I'm usually like a little bit timid to go into popular ones. This is the first year that I've actually like gone into a book and bought a seasonal rom-com, or like a seasonal book, where actually I guess that's not true because I bought a lot of Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry. So I did buy actually like seasonal summer rom-coms, but I feel like that just feels different than a fall rom-com, because for me fall is already like fantasy and fae and deeper like world building and stuff. But this is the first time that I've actually got fall rom-coms, and I'm actually excited because I've been seeing a lot of reviews actually saying that they're deep and really good. The first one that I'm going to be showing is People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. I don't know what it is, but this cover scratches an itch in my brain. Already intrigued of what it's gonna be. I've again heard that it's really sweet, and it's actually like really enthralling to read this book. This author also wrote Out on a Limb and Out of the Woods, and I have the book Out of the Woods, and I've just been waiting to like read it, but I haven't yet. So I'm actually very excited, and I can't believe that I bought two of her books without even like realizing that it's the same author. So this is definitely gonna go next to that book once I've read it. So Prudence Welch has found solace in her introverted life in Baysville, a charming tourist town in northern Ontario. Enter Milo Kabluko, enigmatic wanderer whose beat up van covered with ill-advised bumper stickers rolls into town. And they like make like a little arrangement, they make a little deal between themselves. It's like very interesting and funny. I guess this might be a fake dating trope, not quite sure, but it sounds like it is. So I'm super excited to be reading this one. Next we have If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This cover also obviously acts as a scritch. This cover also scratches an itch in my brain, and it makes me feel like it's Gilmore Girl vibes, and I did hear that it's actually slightly inspired by Gilmore Girls, not in the way where it's kind of like a fan fiction remake or retelling of anything, but it's more of just the setting is in a little town that is having a fall festival, or a harvest festival, I think. It's a slow burn romance set in autumnal glow of 1997 small town Vermont, and I also have been like really intrigued by this one because of it being specifically set in the late 90s, and I feel like that's gonna be really sweet, and I feel like it's going to be literally watching like a Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail, like some kind of rom-com like that. So we're following Michelle in this book, and she actually already went through a divorce, and it literally is on the back of the book. So we're following her, and this is post-divorce. Then she meets this like baker single dad. They can't help but become friends, and she's been wanting to make friends, and she's been wanting to kind of get out of her comfort zone after the divorce. And what I also really love about this author already is she has a ton of other books that I didn't even know about, which I think I might read. We don't know, we'll see, I guess. But usually the author's note is on the back of the book, but the author's note is in the beginning, and it says this book is my love letter to both the autumn months and the late 90s. There are cozy harvest festivals, crunchy leaves, Halloween celebrations, and Thanksgiving pies. Be prepared for a couple of 90s rom-com cliches as well. I couldn't help myself. While this book is full of fun nostalgia and autumn spirit, I would also like to note the following content warnings. And then she goes on to list all of the different warnings, like we have spice, explicit language, death of a parent, from heart attack, off page, like the fact that she included off page. And then she says grieving of a loved one, parental abandonment and estrangement, divorce, cheating, off page, not main characters. It's like, thank you for telling us that that's not the main characters that are doing that. And then it says, be kind to your heart as you read, friends. Now grab a blanket, light up a cozy candle, and revisit the autumn of 1997. XO Julie O. I find that so charming and lovely. Like sometimes when you go into a rom-com, you don't really expect all of the different things that are gonna happen because of the sake of a plot twist or the sake of keeping it interesting and stuff, and like not knowing if the people are gonna get together or not. And like obviously we know that these are adults and this is an adult romance, so we are going to get spice, we are going to get explicit language and stuff. But for me, I don't like spice in books, so knowing that like already the author's like, by the way, there is spice, like I already know going into it, if there is tension building up, I know that I'm going to want to skip the pages soon. So it's just really nice, and I feel like that little author's note just like kind of shows what kind of author she is. And after she said be kind to your heart, friends, it's like, yeah, I should be, you know, like it's just really sweet. And I'm really excited to get into this one, and I feel like it's literally just gonna be like one of those 90s rom-coms, and I'm very excited for it, especially that she literally admitted like there are going to be some 90s cliches in there. So next we have the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's The Season to Fall in Love by Lori Gilmore. So I really love this cover because A, the little gold leaves are really sweet, and the little gold detailing like even on the cafe sign and the chairs is really sweet. And this one is about Jeannie, and her aunt gives her a pumpkin spice cafe in the small town of Dream Harbor. Jeannie jumps at the chance for a fresh start away from her very dull desk job. Then she meets a farmer. He doesn't want anything to do with the new girl Jeannie, but they end up being drawn together. Yeah, it's just kind of like a quick little rom-com. I did see a video, like a little reel, saying that like this was just kind of like oddly spicy, like it was kind of like unnecessarily spicy, and I'm a little bit timid now to go into this because I'm not really a fan. But I hope besides that it'll be a good story, because sometimes like with some books I've experienced, when the author writes it like for the sake of being a spicy rom-com, the actual story doesn't feel complete, or the actual story doesn't feel like deep. Worst case scenario, I don't like the book and then I sell it secondhand. So I mean it's like it's still gonna be okay if it is, you know, but that's just something I guess that you have to go into thinking. And when you're, I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to not be like overly intentional with the rom-coms that you buy, because sometimes obviously it's like a seasonal read and you want to see why everyone's raging about it. Specifically for that autumnal aesthetic, that autumnal feeling, I always wondered like what does that mean? What does that feel like when it's simply like the setting is autumn and it is autumn, you know, because it's kind of easy to feel that in the summertime with summer rom-coms, but in the fall like I've never experienced that. So I'm just like really diving into that this year. Last but not least, we have It's Different This Time by Joss Richard. This cover is more matte, and I actually like that about it. I like how simple it is. I like the art style. It's a sweeping second chance romance. A twist of fate forces two former roommates back into their beloved New York City brownstone, where they must confront the events that led to their estrangement and the unresolved feelings lingering between them. So I'm guessing this is also kind of like a second chance romance, and this is a simple New York rom-com where we get some depth. Cinnamon Spice Cafe, that one had mixed reviews, and the story wasn't exactly like raved about. The actual characters and the actual story wasn't raved about. It was more of like setting that everyone was raving about. But people watching and If It Makes You Happy, those two have been getting very good reviews, where you actually feel very connected to the characters and you actually get like a really fun, good story and a very good, fun romance between them. So I am also, I've heard that this has that as well. So I'm very excited. So yeah, those are all the books that I bought recently and that are kind of on my physical TBR until the foreseeable future. If you don't know, I do have already a video out that is about reading iconic series for the first time, and I've loved filming it. I've loved reading it. I have so many different series that I want to catch up on, kind of get up to date with, get up to speed with, that have been out for so many years that are still considered iconic. So I'm very excited for that, and I feel like it's going really good. But I do obviously want to read these fall rom-coms while we're in the autumn season, so I'm very excited for that as well. But yeah, these are all the books that I bought recently. My book buying ban will last until my birthday, which is December 5th, and then from there I think I'm going to end up getting some Christmas rom-coms, which I haven't done yet either, but I've seen some that look cute and interesting. And my goal for like all of these is to feel like I'm reading Hallmark, and I'm pretty sure Hallmark, yeah, like Hallmark doesn't have spice. I wish that we just had Hallmark books, honestly. And if you do know of any books that don't have spice but give that feeling, and or like when they're adults, because I prefer a romance like when they're adults, because it feels more relatable, it feels more natural, and it doesn't feel like kind of oddly immature. And then usually like the conflict is actually logical, and usually it's not just like, oh, second period he talked to a girl that I don't like, and it's like, I just would prefer a Hallmark book, you know. So with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for, you know, going through the little ups and downs in this video with me, and for just, if you stay this long, thank you so much. We've been growing our community on here. We're already at 300 subscribers. I can't believe that we're at 300 subscribers. That is crazy to me. Like, the fact that 300 people decided to click that button, I don't know, it's crazy. You guys are like, that's awesome. If you got any thoughts, if you have any other autumnal reads like this that don't have spice or are giving that Hallmark vibe, just let me know down below. Or if you know of any Christmas ones that are like in that Hallmark style, please let me know. And if you've read any of these books, spoiler free, let me know what you thought about it and like what your rating was and stuff. Again, you can keep up with me on tanya.iris_ for my book Instagram, I guess. Yeah, everybody, thank you for watching, and thank you for making like my dreams slowly come true and my hobbies get more and more fun. Yeah, and we've got a lot of books on my shelf to read, so I gotta go read. Love you guys. Bye.